The Green Bay Packers and hosts for the 2025 NFL Draft select Jordan Morgan, tackle, Arizona.
I think obviously a lot's going to depend on the player. He's played left tackle. He's got 37 plus starts at left tackle, so that's what he's done. But at the same time, he's a really smart kid.
Yeah, he's big. He's a big body. He's going to be hard to move. That's what's good about him. He's a big body. There you go.
And I think that's one of those things. I don't know if you really know that if you could do that early on until you get him in the building and see how he grasps things and stuff like that. But we would expect that he'll be a quick learner and be able to pick up whatever they ask him to do.
What do you see in him that makes him a potential quality guard, either of those two spots as well?
That's the 10th best tackle. They didn't even take the 10th best player.
They took the 34th best.
Look at a fuck. They can trade 12 fucking picks they got left. Oh, last year's picks probably. Trade the next 12 first-round picks probably. Okay. I'm sorry that the Green Bay Packers took me out like old fucking Yeller. All right? You took me out in the beautiful ass pasture. It was like, hey, look at all this. And then shot me in the fucking face.
What a way to, if that just summarizes what that night went for. That night ended very poorly for us Packer fans. Everybody else got the laugh.
Yeah, I was going through it. I was going through it. I went through it so much the AI couldn't keep up. Sorry, AI.
No.
Sorry
the way that you flamed out on that
Anger.
bit, it was just like, I'm like, this is happening live. Like everybody's watching you. Just
It was very smooth though. It was a smooth fade out. It wasn't
what's going to be the best
all over
part?
the place.
When he pans out and actually becomes a good tackle for you guys.
Oh,
and we get to watch this back. We're like,
yeah.
How do you feel
that
now?
shit back?
No, I want a thank you letter. All right. Because I don't, without that fan in Kansas City that lost his spit when they took Patrick Mahomes wouldn't be Patrick Mahomes today. I put my dollar on it. All right. I put my dollar on it.
Be the cause of Jordan Morgan being Jordan Morgan.
Yeah, absolutely. But one thing that terrifies me, that absolutely terrifies me, is that why did we take in the first round somebody who's already torn their ACL?
Yeah, we took good question.
Especially considering we just went through this horrific event with our last left tackle who ended up being really great, and we ended up having to give a bunch of money to, and then we end up having to bite a bunch of this money because he, couldn't stay healthy. Love the guy. This is we're talking about the player in the game, not the person off of the field, right?
Yeah.
The person off of the field is a phenomenal person. The same thing with this Morgan individual. The dude's a go-getter. His life is about football. Absolutely. But if you can't be on the field for 73% because of some form of, that can't be a question in the first round when you've got Cooper DeJean sitting there. Now, okay, maybe the Green Bay Packers pick up Justin Simmons here in the next week or two. Because
that's a big what if.
It's a big what if, right? Okay, so these guys are maybe smarter than all of us.
They did pick up our buddy Trenty Jones, to play for Michigan. I mean, he was a starter. He was a big-time tackle. That dude was hard to move against. Right. If you want highlights, dude, watch that dude play against Bama in that playoff game. That's where his highlights should have been, but he never got drafted, so you
second round, second, third, we really picked our balls up in those rounds. Again, I kept hearing outside noises. All right, now we got to trade up to get some of these guys or some story like that. And I'm like, why would we lose draft capital to trade up for a guy we could have fucking got on day one?
You know who else feels that pain?
It's a lot of pain. You guys want to just break in, since we talked about Cooper and we talked about Williams, let's just talk about the fall of Cooper. Who on our draft board, none of us thought Cooper was going to fall that far. Absolutely
not that far down.
No.
I thought first
nobody
round was like
the first 15 picks to be offensive players to begin with. That in itself was just mind-blowing, that the fact that towards the end of, because the Packers and the Eagles were towards the bottom of the draft for day one. So to have that much defensive talent just readily available for you guys to just jump on, was insane in itself. And the fact that, again, you guys literally had Cooper in the palm of your hands. He was literally hand delivered to you. Even with the almost, we thought that the Cowboys were screwing y'all over with the trade with Detroit. And the fact that y'all literally were right there and
just passed on it.
It didn't make any sense to me. Like, it was almost mind-blowing, like Penix going to Atlanta. It just didn't. I didn't understand
taking Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson,
or trading up to get Mitch Trubisky. Doesn't make any fucking sense. But here we are.
All of our teams have done shit in the draft where you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Like this year, the last couple of rounds.
I know it's coming.
That fucking 9 trades.
What did you find
in the draft is fucking ridiculous.
You started talking about Dallas and their fuckery. So then I went, of course, to the Lions, right? And I'm looking at the Lions getting Terrion Arnold from the cornerback from Alabama. And I'm sitting here wondering if that was Green Bay's pick. We all fell in love with Cooper DeJean. And the Green Bay's front office always does what the Green Bay's front office does.
Right.
First round, that's all I could tell you.
You're saying that Terrion Arnold was, you're assuming that was,
I think that was the big, I think that was the big board. And because they went to their offensive lineman that they were going to take in the second round instead
Cooper DeJean would have been just a suitable next great pick right after.
Unless they didn't think so. Which, I really love them on their thought process. Kevin King and TJ
Watt. That goes back to Patrick's question he asked earlier. If y'all passed out on Cooper, what is it that they Green Bay knows enough to pass on
31 other teams?
But it wasn't just that. It was other teams.
Technically a whole round and a half.
Yeah, because at that point, every team had passed.
I think everybody's draft boards are just so fucked after all that shit went down in the first round that people were just panicking. They're like, what do we
grabbing
do?
The next available player. But
where do we think Penix was going?
Honestly, I thought he was going early second.
I thought he was going to go
to the Raiders.
I thought the Raiders too.
In
I
the
thought
first round or the second round?
First round.
I thought he was going to wait to the second because
early second,
I don't think he's a first round talent. But I thought
the Raiders, think he was going to go in the first.
The Raiders, I thought the Raiders, Antonio Pierce was going to be aggressive, trade up in the second and grab him then. But
the Brock Bowers pick didn't make sense either.
No. Yeah, but it makes more sense than drafting a quarterback after you pay your other quarterback $100 million.
What if Brock Bowers is the next Rob Gronkowski?
He's not.
He's
not with Mitch.
He's not big enough.
But this is the thing. I don't think he's the next Rob Gronkowski, but I think he could be the next Travis Kelce light.
Yeah. What one would be better?
Realistically, you can't lose either way. If he develops into Gronk or Trav, you've got a Hall of Fame tight end on your squad.
And this is the thing. You could have waited to get a quarterback in the second round if you're Atlanta, and you passed on Rome to do what? Yeah. To bet on the future, but you just dropped $180 million with $100 million guaranteed.
Or Dallas Turner too,
like
which
ended
up being 17, not 15.
Or Jared Verse, or
and this is the thing. Penix is going to be maybe 28, 29 years old when he possibly takes over the Atlanta Falcons. So you're telling me you're going to sit this man for 4 years, possibly, maybe 3.
What if he plays for 11?
That's still, you're still only getting 7 out of the 11 years. You know what I'm saying? The
rookie contract expires the same time that Kirk's contract expires.
You're gonna have to. By the time you're going to have to pick up his 5th-year option. You have to. You don't have a choice.
At the amount of money they're paying him,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And like you said, he just added $15 million to his contract by getting drafted 8th versus getting drafted in the second round.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
That's insane.
Unless he's trade capital for later on. But what's a rookie worth if he never sees the field?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Unless the only thing I could see that working out is if a starter gets injured and somebody needs an immediate athletic quarterback. But
I don't know. But he's also
I don't know, man.
At the same time.
Speaking of potential, I got in a huge argument on a Facebook NFL board because somebody said that this is something I'm gonna ask all you this question. Okay. I don't even want to say it because I feel like I already know what you guys are going to say. CJ Stroud, is he a franchise quarterback right now, or do you still have to wait and see?
I have to wait and see. The NFL is the NFL.
Is their franchise quarterback? Like, they have nowhere else to go.
He's still on that rookie deal. You don't worry about, especially getting him weapons. You don't worry about him going anywhere as long as you're winning. But I'm saying people say he's a franchise quarterback.
He played last year, in the next 2-3 years, if he continues that trend and either stays consistent or goes just slightly better, because you can only get so much better than what he did last year. Like, you can only do so much. And he missed a couple games. So you have to put that into consideration in his argument.
Right. Do we believe he's hit his ceiling? Is he going to get better?
I think he can get better. I think he can get better, and then you add weapons around him to continue for him to get better. He's going to be a top 5 quarterback.
So the answer, what I said, he's a potential.
Bobby Portis just got ejected.
Portis got ejected. Did he do his bucket?
Jesus.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. I think the potential for him to be a franchise quarterback is 100% there. Now, let's be real. Like, he's going to experience some kind of slump. I'm not saying he's going to drop off the fucking face of the earth, but there will be a reduction because now you have an entire year's worth of tape to scout on him, how he handles NFL defenses, what his tendencies are. So we'll see how.
This is a true test to see how he bounces off of this.
We will see how defenses play with him now. But the thing is, now he has more weapons. Now he has bigger names on the defense.
Veteran weapons.
He's got crazy weapons. And DeMeco Ryans picked up players that fit in the DeMeco Ryans scheme.
Yeah.
So I would say about 75% sure that he's Houston's franchise quarterback. But there is that 25%. There's that 1 in 4 chance that he shits the bed.
So that's a projection.
Of course. Yeah.
And I agree with that projection wholeheartedly. I mean, even if we wanted to bump the numbers, but I still think comfortably Thanksgiving next year.
Well, right. How many players tore their leg or tore an ACL or whatever, and then they were never the same player? You don't want to jump the gun and put that much pressure on them. That's why I say potential.
Yeah. All signs are pointing towards.
Of course, we all know he's a great quarterback. He's going to be a great quarterback. But
I think the biggest difference with him is that he didn't come into the league with any major injuries.
No,
as opposed to quarterbacks like RG3.
Oh, sorry.
Who had a history of his ACL and LCL.
It was always hamstring bullshit with him, just like Marvin Harrison Jr. with the hamstring shit.
That's what I'm saying.
Things like you can work out with a good trainer.
Who you still can't get his jersey yet, by the way.
And he still hasn't signed his the biggest hit that he got coming in for CJ Stroud from college to pros is that his IQ test was bad.
Oh, that one lick bullshit.
Yeah, and clearly that didn't pan out, and clearly he knows how to play football.
Yeah,
his decision
at a very high level.
All you have to do is watch one tape of any game last year. Even after he threw his first interception, you see him throw his first interception, go on the bench, sit down, shake it off, and say to himself, I can play better than that. Come out and rip. The kid is...
His mental wasn't rocked.
Yes. He's more mature than I think people thought he was. And his decision-making, one thing I will give him credit for is I haven't seen him make the same mistake twice.
Yeah. No, the kid can ball, especially now that he's not playing for Ohio State, right? Yeah. We can go ahead and compliment the young man all that is deserved. He was a baller.
So now you could be nice to him.
No, we actually when we on the show, we don't rip on individual players. We just hate the team.
Listen,
what was their last quarterback's name?
Caleb Williams, and he played for Oklahoma. So I have to suck that up.
Their last quarterback was
who? Ohio State? I don't know.
No, Ohio State.
Yeah,
some guy.
We were nice. I was just saying, we were nice to that kid.
Yeah. Whoever his name is.
Yeah, we were nice to him.
We'll just say
he don't play for Michigan. Yeah. Yeah, we weren't nice to him.
So does this mean that J.J. McCarthy gets a pass from you guys for playing for the Vikes?
No, he plays for the Vikings. Patrick says something, but me personally, like I like you in the offseason. and I'll appreciate you.
Come September.
But come September, after you retire or move on from the Vikings, we would
gladly have him on the show to talk about how much he loves fishing and hunting in Minnesota, and then we'd be like, "But that team sucks."
Yeah, but that wasn't the question. That was the question.
On Sundays.
I'm going to be rooting for more interceptions and touchdowns. I'm going to be rooting for sacks.
You're definitely not getting drafted on my fantasy team.
Hey, I feel you. The same. I was the exact same way. I'm an LSU football fan when it comes to college sports.
I'm sorry.
It is what it is. But when OBJ got drafted to the Giants, it was the same thing. Like I rocked with OBJ.
That would have been hard to swallow.
Oh, I was pissed when he went to the Giants. But what are you going to do? The kid is
Hutchinson going from Michigan to the Lions. Yeah,
these guys need to make a living. They need to have a career. It's life. As a matter of fact, we all think that they hate each other, but deep down, these guys are all brothers on the field, and we need to feel the same way.
Some of them,
except for Dominic and Sue.
I don't think these people really hate each other off the field. They're not going to fight each other.
Who's the Saints guy that always has beef with Tom Brady? That was it, Marshawn Lattimore?
It might have been Lattimore.
I think it was Lattimore who every time the Saints played the Bucks, it was just Lattimore yapping at Tom, and then Mike Evans.
Did he get pushed that one time and got injured?
Mike
Evans pushed him too hard or something?
He shoved him.
But Mike Evans also did the same shit to CJ when he was on the Saints too, because CJ just likes to poke the bear. Mike Evans, this is how mad do you let somebody get you that you punch their face mask with your bare hands?
Yeah. Come here, helmet.
What makes you think that's a good idea? I guess better than.
What was that guy that Andre Johnson was going back and forth with on the Titans that one year? When he was with the Texans, he was, or even when Josh Norman and OBJ,
Pac-Man?
No, it wasn't Pac-Man, but even when Josh Norman and OBJ were going back and forth, that was just hilarious to me. When
he was throwing hands,
you're punching a face mask. You know you're gonna break your hand, right?
Speaking of fights in the NFL, do you guys remember when who was it? Oh, what the defensive guy for Cleveland picked up Myles Garrett and almost smacked
Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph.
I saw another video where they had a joint practice together, and Myles Garrett went to pick up a helmet, and
they were all back, and they were all going like this.
Yeah, the offensive lineman was like, "Give me that," and Myles Garrett was like, "My bad."
I guess y'all are still scarred.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
That's a big dude to be coming at you with a helmet.
Hell, who was it? Vontez Burfict, who ruined Antonio Brown?
It was Antonio Brown,
yeah. His brain was never the same.
Did you destroyed that kid? Then who was it that came back? Though? Juju Smith-Schuster?
Yeah.
And then walked over him.
Have you ever watched before and after videos of his interviews?
Ridiculous.
He's like talking. He talks to himself in the second interview. He's interviewing himself in the second interview. Yeah. The first interview, he's answering questions.
The dude is a classic case of CTE. But was it him who was on a kick return one time and kicked a kicker in the face, went to hurdle him, and put his cleat in his face and buried him in the ground?
That was the most amazing punt return I ever seen.
That dude was watching clips of the old XFL in the locker room and went, if I get a chance, I'm going to do this shit. You check this out. And everyone was like, yeah, okay, AB, you crazy motherfucker. Walked out and on the sideline. Damn, he did it.
He was definitely something to watch.
AB was that guy.
Nut job.
Yeah, all jokes aside, though, so apparently you cannot locate or diagnose like CTE until the patient is deceased and or DED dead.
Oh, they're gonna find it in his brain.
But the thing is, you can look at him right now and go, "Yeah, you have it. Why don't we pay you to try and find it?" That dude would be like, "Hell yeah, give me the money."
Like,
and then for science
or some type of, I don't want to say experiment because that sounds cruel.
Without putting lipstick on actual bunnies. No. Yeah, without putting lipstick on bunnies here.
That they can do an exam or something that they can be like, hey, this part of your brain's fucked up.
That's
they can go do the Neuralink shit.
Because they can go in with a CT scan and they can see the areas of your brain that are darker that have had concussions. Right. They can't diagnose active CTE because it's just the technology doesn't exist yet. But they can definitely see it's the same thing in football players, boxers, And the study was football players, boxers, and people who use ecstasy. You look at their brains in the CTE and you can see these spots.
They look like brain contusions, like bruises on the brain or whatever.
Are you saying boxers and NFL players are using ecstasy as well?
Or are we saying getting punched in the face gives off the same effect as taking psychedelic drugs? Yeah. Yeah.
So
side note, we should reach out. We should reach out to some brain specialist at some point in time to maybe ask that question and see where they would go with it.
We can definitely bring that to the table.
Because I feel like I'm not saying that medicine is like advanced, but we've advanced a lot,
right?
And I feel like there's something that they can do to try to predetermine, hey, these are signs to pre-signs that are like, because if you can diagnose before you get Alzheimer's, pre-Alzheimer's, you telling me you can't find a way to diagnose pre-CTE to try to take medication to help it to where it's not as bad? Because I'm pretty sure it's going to take over at some point.
The problem is,
with Alzheimer's, there's genetic markers that you can look at, and CTE doesn't produce those same genetic markers.
Anybody can get.
And this is where that brain specialist would come into play. But I totally get it. It to me, without knowing much, it feels like you take a picture of AB's brain and you take a picture of somebody who we know doesn't have it, and then play the what doesn't look like the other game. And then dig into
get a scan
those
of somebody that has CTE and compare all three.
Well,
and
you
like, what's
you know that
Absolutely.
they have Junior Seau's brain, and that's what they're using to pretty much try to find a cure.
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
So
talk about a dude with CTE.
But to add to Paul's note as well, though, once I found out they were growing human ears on the back of rats to then put on as working ears to humans, I started thinking to myself,
dude,
why is there anything at all? That's what I'm saying. And I'm like, why is there
inside of pigs right now in China? So I mean,
I'm like, why are we living a life of fear of sickness and whatnot?
They're growing human ears.
Yes.
They've been doing that for 30 years.
Dude.
That's old.
That's what I mean. Like I was like,
if
what
I
the
ever
fuck?
lose an ear,
Yeah.
do not give me one. Just let me look stupid.
You want us to go shop on the 3-ball market?
They're also
I'm just
farming
gonna
human organs, Paul, human organs. So if they had a kidney or a liver, they're actually farming those out of pigs too.
Oh man.
Not the United States because it's against the human rights stuff, but in other countries like China and North Korea,
like as far as skin wise, it's the closest. I'm not getting no damn rat's ear, pig's kidney.
Bro,
the thing is, you probably would never know.
Yeah, you wouldn't know. No, they're like ears,
if it ever
dude.
gets cut off, leave it the way it looks.
They're like, just skin graft my kneecap.
We all show up to Paul's house. Hey, Paul, does this smell like chloroform? What? You can't hear us. You can't hear us because you ain't got no ear.
I got this one. Leave this one alone.
Even simpler than that, I'm gonna fuck around. If you ever lose an ear, I'm gonna get you one of those old Civil War fucking.
He's gonna
The Wild West movie.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I gotta leak it out first real quick.
Gotta drain out my leghorn fog hat or fog hat leghorn, whatever it is.
No.
Well, how do you guys want to break down the NFL draft? You don't want to do every team, do you? Because that'll take forever.
No, we can just do our teams.
Let's
Thoughts
do
on
this.
thoughts on each team.
Yeah, because I do got to give the kid a fair shake.
All right, so if that's the
his
case,
fault.
let's jump right into Paul, Chicago Bears.
So we got Caleb Williams first overall, which was pretty much everybody and their mother and anybody that's blind knew that was going to happen.
You did somehow sneak a 5th pick in there.
That's what I was talking about. I did not see that one coming. Didn't know where the hell that pulled out from. We got, again, the fact that we landed Rome Odunze at 9th was not supposed to happen, but here we are.
I got breaking news real quick.
Oh,
All right, breaking news.
The Eagles are signing former first-round pick Mekhi Becton.
Really?
God damn it! What are we doing?
building for the future?
That dude is always injured. He's going to be a practice squad guy.
Maybe with a better offensive line coach, he'll be better.
We do have Stoutland University.
Yeah.
Year 5.5 million. Yeah, that's not bad.
cheap money. That's
Better
rental
and
money.
better and minimum.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
That's
Okay,
good money.
I'll take it.
Our offensive tackle we got, Kieran. Go ahead. Mike
Amagaji.
from Yale. He
Amagaji.
Amagaji. He's been a lifelong Bears
God
fan.
bless you.
In 2010, he tweeted Bears down for life, and now he gets to live out his dream 13 years later. So here we are. Then we got Torrey Taylor, our punter from Iowa. He averages about 46 yards a punt, and he can punt in cold weather, so he knows how it is to be in this windy-ass city.
Like
and then the
Caleb,
surprise pick.
called him and texted him, told you ain't going to be punting.
Yeah, you're not going to punt much. And then the surprise pick, Austin Booker, the defensive tackle out of Kansas, did not see that one coming again because we came into the draft with just 4. So how we pulled this off, I don't know. I don't care. But, hey, I don't know if he's going to actually be on the team once the season starts because we all know that he might – you know what happens with those 6th, 7th, 5th – no, I wouldn't say 5th, but 6th, 7th round guys. The chances of them making the team it's 50-50. Depends on how you do in training camp.
They usually become your practice squad guys, and if guys get hurt, they usually get pulled up. The Packers have struck gold in their practice squad a couple times. Other teams have as well. So
overall, I give
Keyshawn Nixon.
I told Mike earlier today that I feel like this year is probably one of the years since I've been a fan that we actually tried to fix holes on the offensive side and not just focus on defense. Like we're well balanced to the point where I think we're moving in the right direction. Like Ryan Poles is drafting and signing and trading correctly. Like he's bringing all that wealth and knowledge that he had in Kansas City and he's putting it to work in Chicago. And so I think it's working. I'm not saying that we're going to win the division, even though we're going to win the division.
You don't want to be quoted on that like Big Cat.
Don't quote me.
Don't quote me.
But I think we got a legitimate shot at a playoff spot this year. Like I really honestly do. I think this draft I would give it on the low end, A-, on the high end, A, just a flat out A. I think we did good. And then the offseason was strong. These last 2 years been good offseason wise. Outside of the whole Justin Field debacle that happened this offseason, it is what it is. It's probably going to end up being a 6th round pick anyway, but that's fine. But this has been probably the only team that I can think of, and you guys can stop me and correct me, that a rookie quarterback has come into, and we've said this before, that's gone into a team that's had this kind of offensive weapons to come to and start their career. You got 3 wide receiver ones. You got a running back room that's stacked. You got 2 top tight ends that are young, and you have a top 5, top 7 defense on the other side of the ball. That's good for me. And so he doesn't have a lot of grace, especially now that he has all this given to him. His grace is limited versus if it was Justin Fields when he got into the league.
You seen the only knock that the Bears got. So they got a 94, a cumulative 94 was their draft grade. So it's between the A- and A. On the upper side, probably an A. But because they only had 4 picks, that they did make the 5th pick, I think that's why everybody can only give them an A- because they're like, they didn't have enough to. They did with what they had. They did amazing. Odunze at freaking 9 was unbelievable. The fact he even fell to that point probably is crazy enough. But
we all thought he was going to be gone to Atlanta.
I thought he was going to be on between 7 and 8.
New York and Atlanta.
Well, and that's something that we should take into account is that you can't take into account for stupidity. What the Atlanta Falcons did was nothing less than stupid. Period. Yeah,
it made no sense.
But you want to break the rest of their draft down? I'll give you the rest of the players that Atlanta drafted, all right?
Go ahead.
And you tell me if there's one player outside of him that you would have took first. So the Atlanta Falcons.
Yes, Rome Odunze.
No, I'm talking about players that they drafted.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, any player I would have picked in the first round outside of Michael Penix. But, yeah.
And the fact
Rook Ororo, I was laughing, I was dying when the dude said the guy's name because he was like, "Oh, it sounded like a dog freaking growling at you,"
or a diesel engine starting up in a cold winter.
Yeah, but they gave up a lot by picking Penix. The possibility of getting Kirk another weapon, a better offensive tackle or a lineman, hell, even a defensive player at that point. Honestly, even Drake. What was his name? Drake or who's the guy from Alabama that was supposed to go top 10? Dallas or Drake?
Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner. Yeah, I would have even taken him there.
They left so much on the board for what?
Considering they don't have a pass rush at all.
No,
at all.
No,
when your starting
doesn't
quarterback comes out, you heard what Kirk did. Maybe that's bullshit. You think that's lies, or is that truth that he was like really shocked?
I think he was shocked. I
think he was genuinely shocked.
The dude doesn't dress himself. Why would he lie about how he feels?
And this is the thing. And I'm pretty sure
I'm talking about like clicks, like they embellished it a little bit or something, you know? Like
I feel you.
I'm pretty sure Kirk knew that there was gonna be a replacement drafted in this.
Charles, wait till you see the birthday present that I got you.
But I don't think that
you better wear it on the show.
Around.
Yeah, my mom just got me a sweet ass Charlie Brown shirt. Oh, it's so awesome. It's ridiculous. It's a button down Charlie Brown.
I don't know what they were thinking, man. There's so many better players. Offensive line to keep fucking Kirk on his goddamn shit because he tears every muscle in both of his legs all the time. You could have gone wide receiver.
Yeah.
You could have gone defensive line. You could have gone the Rook, a horror pick is not horrible.
No, I wasn't
for a
terrible,
second round
but
pick. They could have gone Johnny Newton, which is crazy to me.
I got a question about Atlanta.
It's warm.
Cousins coming off of his Achilles injury, right?
Oh, you want to do plus minus over under?
No, here's my question though. Before we do plus minus, Kirk Cousins is coming back from an Achilles injury. He's old as shit in football terms. He's old as shit, right? And then you got Penix, who's also injury prone. He's had injury issues from Indiana and even in Washington.
And for rookie, he's old as shit.
You're riding on two quarterbacks that could possibly injure themselves before week 10.
But you're talking about they both could get injured in the preseason. If Penix goes down, who's the backup?
That sounds like
Bijan Robinson?
I was gonna say Kyle Pitts.
No, he's the back. You mean just there's a handoff guy?
Yeah.
No, I don't even know who's
They're running Wildcats all day.
Oh no, it was Tyler Heineke. That's what it was. Yeah.
They're gonna do the Niners
all day.
The Niners in the NFC Championship game against Philly.
That'll be fine. He's a 21-21 guy.
Can I tell you something that I think you guys, did you hear that the only gripe that the Bears had in the NFL draft is they didn't use that fifth pick to get a backup quarterback?
Why?
Well, we do got a backup quarterback.
Yeah. I don't.
Who's the backup quarterback? Badgett? You'd take Badgett over? I would have probably. Actually, I think I like the guy the Packers took it from Tulane. Pratt is a senior
done. What the fuck was that guy's name from Tennessee? Milton.
Well, he got drafted to the freaking Patriots
in the 6th round.
Yep.
Yeah. He's
got
got
193.
Spencer Rattler over there going to the Saints. Going to give Carr a run for his money.
I'm surprised all these quarterbacks got drafted. I thought at least one of them was going to go undrafted.
Me too. But what do you know? I think the Bears overall, man, y'all had a fantastic draft. Polls is starting to show. Okay, look, I got rid of everything essentially that was drafted before I got here. I don't rock with it, so let's make my own way.
He's building his team.
And I think
the last year the Bears are only going to have 4 picks. So
I think ownership is smart for letting him do it too. I still think y'all should have kept Justin Fields, but that's a bygone thing that's never going to change. So I think overall, Caleb, he's set. I think with Caleb, you got 2 years.
Right. You got
After
no excuses
2 years,
offensively.
Yep. After 2 years, dude, unless this season is just injury after injury on the offensive side of the ball, you've got 2 years.
Don't speak
because you were coming into like Paul said, you're coming into the best situation that I can remember a rookie quarterback coming into.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, just a random example, Will Levis last year going into Tennessee was a shit show, a complete shit show. Caleb has the complete opposite of that. Management is in a good spot. Your coaching.
It's a lot of
staff
blinding lights, but there is a vehicle behind those blinding lights, driven by the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, and the Minnesota Vikings. These are 3 very tough defensive ran teams, and offensively can put points up on the board. So Caleb is not only going to get a chance to prove himself, but it's going to be proven to the whole league. He's not playing in a division with Tennessee. Who do they play with?
Still
the
like
Colts,
Titans,
the
the
Jags,
Jags.
Yeah, and even with Atlanta, to be honest with you, we're laughing at Atlanta because of their shit picks, but they play in a division every year where you could be blind and deaf and still make it into the playoffs. So they don't have a lot of shit going on down there either.
Somebody
to be
has
honest
to win.
with you,
Somebody,
absolutely.
I think the
So,
NFC North this year, if it pans out the way that it looks on paper, has the ability to compete as the best division right next to the AFC
it's probably gonna be a
North.
dogfight too.
yeah,
And
and that might hurt us in the playoff picture. To be honest with you.
with
Because the
losses
NFC,
and stuff.
the NFC North might be so good that the only team that comes out of the NFC North,
winner
because
of
we
the
beat the
division.
hell out of each other, is the
team.
winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very.
But that
true.
makes it so much better, though.
Y'all could all go
For the
I mean,
podcast,
We get to argue all the time. Yeah.
3 and 3.
The
You know,
NFC is gonna be
realistically,
fucking wild.
the winner of you guys' division could be 3 and 3 in division. Like it's a
Yeah.
real possibility.
yeah.
Or shit, 2 and 4 just because of how stacked every team in you guys' division is.
There's really no telling on what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Like on paper wise.
We'll see with the Vikings.
Computer simulated because of how young the Bears are. I mean, we would have to assume Green Bay and Detroit are battling for 1 and 2, and Minnesota being the wild card, and the Bears just being the unknown. So you have to follow a historical path in a moment of picking.
So
Right.
I saw a guy simulate.
But I'm excited for him.
He simulates seasons for all sports, big old transactions. So he simulated the Bears with all the draft picks with Caleb and Rome. All
Yeah.
that. And he simulated. So his first 2 years, he went 8 and 9, but he threw for 3,800 yards, 3,300 yards, both seasons between 25 and 28 touchdowns. Season 3, he went over the 4,000 yard mark with 32 touchdowns, 10 and 7, made the playoffs and won the division.
I can
Fourth
see Caleb
season.
Williams being the first quarterback to go
Oh,
over
I've-
4,000 for the
I
Bears.
feel like he
easily.
has the capability with the talent that he has. I think the
125
upside is
years.
there. I'm like,
Yeah,
just the existence,
definitely.
period.
Y'all
But he has the capability, he has the weapons, he has the potential. It's just like you said, Charles. The division is gonna be a dogfight, and it's gonna depend on who shows
Right.
up. Because again,
bread
this
smells
isn't the
good.
Pac-12 no more. The Pac-12, This is not the Pac-12 where it's just cakewalk and there's 1 or 2. This isn't it. All 3 teams in this division potentially can make you look like shit
Yeah.
real
Real
fast.
quick.
Easy.
What's Minnesota's biggest question?
Their
quarterback.
Yeah,
Quarterback.
so not their
Quarterback.
defense.
No.
What's Green Bay's biggest question? Can their quarterback return for a season 2?
Yeah. Yeah.
What's Detroit's biggest question?
Can they just keep
Can they
doing what they're
compete?
doing?
Yeah.
Can they keep doing what they're doing? Absolutely. So none of that is defensively. So Caleb Williams is going to be playing against a stout divisional defense all season long. It's going to be fantastic. And because he's the number 1 draft pick, teams aren't going to be playing him like a rookie, which is another significant factor. So I'm looking forward to it. And I don't mean to sound negative. Oh, a Packer fan. And yeah, maybe a little bit is a little extra ghost pepper hidden into this pie. But the reality of it is, what is it? Diamond sharpens diamond, or whatever the hell that saying
Iron
is.
sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens
yeah.
iron. There it is. Iron sharpens iron. Yeah, I'm a Greek god, so I don't deal with that materialistic shit. But what more could you ask for? Like you mentioned, they have the tools to compete in this fire.
Yeah.
Can
Now
he
teach him.
sharpen himself?
To make
This
the
is the
fire.
question.
You've got all the tools.
And this is the thing. He has everything going for him, but it's the biggest obstacle is going to be himself. His cocky little arrogant attitude could also be his Achilles heel when it comes to playing those
Right.
good teams.
Because you're going to throw a ball you think you can throw, and in the NFL, that's a pick 6.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
gave you the keys to
Every
the kingdom
time.
day 1. All
Yeah.
right, here's the keys to the Ferrari. Are you gonna wreck this and wrap it around a tree, or are
Yeah.
you gonna ride this bitch?
Wheels fall off. Yeah.
Yeah,
know?
absolutely.
So it's all on him. The ball
Yep.
now is officially in his hands, and it's going to be an interesting ride to see. I've
Yeah.
never been more excited to be a Bears fan than I am this year. Like I am
Driving
truly-
around Appleton today, there were Bears flags.
We got Bears.
Outside of the doors. Well, we've had Bears fans, absolutely.
Yeah.
But when you've been getting your ass kicked for 10 years, you ain't had no flags.
But the air is a little different up here now.
Yeah.
The air smells a little different.
Back in the car at work.
When I went to New Orleans to watch
the father-in-law's neighbor is one of those.
When I went to New Orleans to watch the Bears play the Saints, I've never in my life. And this is the thing, I went to the year before. I went to Dallas. Not a bear, hardly any Bears anywhere. Clearly, because it's Cowboys Nation. Yeah. But in New Orleans, when I tell you they had all down Bourbon Street, just Bear flags, just hanging down every apartment, down every bar. I'm just like, are we in New Orleans or are we in Chicago?
The Bears are very well versed as far as like a team goes.
Yeah, well,
there's lots of Bears fans.
To be around for 125 years, you have to be. Mm-hmm. Now
you're an asshole.
Hey man, 85 wasn't that long ago. 85 wasn't that long ago.
I was somebody's sack.
The 4,000 passer mark one, that still throws me for a loop. And you were somebody 125 years ago. You were in a sack of somebody's sack.
No, 85 years. 85. I was in somebody's sack.
Yeah, hell yeah, the hacky sack and sack. But now, one of my favorite topics here is the NFC East. It really is. For one, because Mike's on the show, but two, I don't like the Cowboys.
Did we all get to laugh just a little bit when he came out there and he said, "Go blue," and he said, "Dallas sucks"? Did everybody else watch that? I lost it. I was like, they booed his ass, and I was like, that was funny.
Yeah, that's Brandon Graham.
That was Brandon Graham, yeah.
Michigan boy, Detroit born and raised, went to Michigan, came out. I think it was a first-round pick for us in 2009. Something like that. The guy, that's BG though. Like he's gonna yap until he can't yap. There's a video of, they asked Jason Kelsey about it because there's a video of them all going up to the line playing the Giants, and Brandon Graham is just yapping to the defensive line like, "Fuck you guys! Like we're gonna smack that ass." And Jason Kelsey was like, "Hey, how about you shit talk your guy, not the guy I have to guard? Like you don't have to say him. How about you shut the fuck up?" But that's BG, and that's why BG's always going to be – BG will never, ever have to buy another meal or drink in Philadelphia again, ever. Yeah. He's that guy.
My biggest question for the Eagles community in its entirety, and it's become a whisper, but the health concerns of your new acquisitions via the offseason, is that on the back of your mind, the front of your mind, or do we think that this situation they're in no longer calls for the concern of injury?
I think if you're specifically talking about Saquon,
we could pull him into.
If you're talking about Saquon, it's not as much of a concern anymore because we have a competent offensive line and we don't have meth life fields.
Are you trying to say that they had a bad offensive line?
Oh yeah,
I know. Say it in a really nice way.
That's such a shocking revelation. But yeah, the offensive line of the Giants.
The politest way I've heard you say that.
The entire time, I have a little bit of tact, a little bit. But yeah, for Saquon, I'm not as much. Like I broke in earlier and said Mekhi Becton just got traded to.
It's what brought the question. Yeah, it's what brought the question to my mind.
With him, I'm concerned, but less so because he's not starting. He's going to be a swing tackle. He's going to just play the game, play the downs where Jordan Mailata gets hurt or Lane Johnson needs a break or something like that. I think there's going to be specific packages with Mekhi Becton because the talent with that guy is there. The dude is huge. He has the hands. His feet are good. He's a great offensive lineman when he's healthy. But like we've talked about since I've known you guys, the best ability is availability. If you're not on the field, it doesn't matter how good your potential is. Yeah. So with him, yeah, I'm a little bit more concerned. With Saquon, not so much. Like, I just think that one, Saquon's running on a better field because it's not MetLife Stadium. Yeah. Two, the offensive line. Do you know when Saquon averaged like 90 yards above expected last year, he was only averaging like 3.6 yards a carry behind New York's line. Yeah. DeAndre Swift was averaging almost 6 yards a carry, and we didn't even use him that well. So I think that's going to be, for Saquon, it's not much of a concern.
So the other question that comes to mind too, you guys reacquired C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Now, do we expect the playoff CJ or the regular season last year CJ? Because in the regular season, he managed about 17 tackles and an interception. But now in the playoffs, he was on pace to dwarf those numbers in very little games. 12 tackles, 5 solos, 7 assists, an interception, 12 yards. He was who he was for the Eagles. So do we expect more of that in his comfortability to return? Because it seemed like he enjoyed Detroit.
With the ski mask thing?
Yeah.
CJ Gardner-Johnson, I think there's an injury concern for him as well. But I really do think that when CJ played for the Saints, he was good, but he wasn't great. Like, he was a yapper. He got into people's heads and messed up the flow of the game. In Philly, he had to learn to be a technically better safety. And not just safety, they took him out of a safety slot and put him into a nickel. So he wasn't asked to do nearly as much. I think if you put him back in the nickel, which is exactly what they're going to do, because now we have Talcum Jenkins and Chalk Dawk in the safety room. Yes, exactly. Now that we got DeJean along with Blankenship as safeties, I think CJ sits in the nickel slot, which is going to take his workload way, way, way down. And he's going to be able to be the ball hawking menace that he was in 22 for Philly. So I'm fully expecting to see a return to that. We do have Avonte Maddox back to back him up on a 1-year deal, which, again, injury prone. But if he's the third nickel corner, I'm not that worried about his injuries. Plus, I think our cornerback room altogether has exponentially gotten better. Like, significantly gotten better with the additions of Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo and Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. Back in, you guys all know, our back seven was the worst part of our defense last year. Our linebackers were trash.
Defensive coordinator as well.
That's true. We don't have some idiot who doesn't know how to fucking blitz the passer or wants to use the best edge rusher that he has in coverage. Idiot. So now we have competent coaching, but we also have, I love Slay is probably my favorite player on the defense since Hassan is gone. But Slay's 34 years old. That's ancient for a corner in the NFL.
We got to see a lot of him when he was with Detroit.
I love that guy. He's so smart. And even more than that, he's such a good person off the field. Like, we talk about it with every player we talk about, but your character off the field absolutely affects the way you are in the locker room or in the community. It affects your performance when you go and play. So Bradbury, I think, is going to be a post June 1st. See ya. I just think, and we brought in Devin White, who, again, you asked earlier, new acquisitions injury question. Devin White has had some concerns, but I think Devin White is still young enough that it's going to be interesting to see if we get his return to form too, because we've got Nakobe Dean, we now got Axeman Jr., Jeremiah Trotter back in the second level of the defense. I think all three levels of our defense have gotten better this offseason, and I'm excited. But to just jump into who we got, like Paul did,
I was just going to ask you when it comes to now, because all of that led to obviously the draft decisions and questions. Your favorite draft pick, your most surprising draft pick, and did it fall where you felt it was going to, or did that knuckle come instead of a curveball?
My favorite draft pick was Jeremiah Trotter. I've grown up an Eagles fan. I've seen his dad be a 4-time Pro Bowler, go to the Super Bowl in 2004 with us. So to have that legacy come back, that's my favorite emotional pick. When it comes to who I think is going to shine this draft, Quinyon and Cooper DeJean have the ridiculous amount of talent that they could take over our backfield this year or next year. We also got, I think my biggest surprise was our edge rusher, Jalix Hunt out of Houston Christian. He started as a safety. He played for Cornell, which is an Ivy League school, so not great competition as far as football goes.
Yeah, better than the Pac-12, but yeah.
But the kid is 6'3", 258 pounds, and he bends like crazy. He plays edge like
Beckham?
safety. I think better than Beckham because he's American.
Hell yeah. Oh, all right.
So Jalix is probably my biggest surprise. I think the one that kind of I'm excited really to see how he develops is Johnny Wilson out of Florida State.
Yeah.
6'7", 255.
He's a big guy. That's
his hands.
Is he an edge?
No, that's a wide receiver.
Oh, that. No way. That what? Charles, we found a guy that just dwarfs Jaden Daniels now. 6'7". Wait a minute. This dude was 6'7" catching balls from Hunter or not?
Yeah.
Hunter. Jordan Travis.
Yeah. 6'7".
How did you miss him? How'd you overthrow the guy?
Well, Jordan didn't.
It wasn't overthrowing. The guy.
Very true, Charles. He was with a broken leg. That's right.
His hands are not the greatest. I think what's going to end up happening.
That was Xavier Worthy's knock as well.
I think what's going to end up happening is they're going to end up moving him to tight end behind. Who's that tight end we just picked up from the Jets?
Tyler Conklin?
CJ Uzama.
Oh, was Uzama? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they're going to move him to tight end and let him develop behind Dallas Goedert, because at 6'7", what edge rusher is going to just body a 6'7", 240-pound receiver? He's going to be a blocking receiver. So I think the upside is there for him, and he's fast. The dude for 6'7" ran a 4.5.
That's why I feel like you should convert a player like that should be converted into a tight end, because then he's going against the linebacker in single zone man coverage. And that's the other thing. Hell, a corner is going to have a hell of a time because he's only 6 foot. All he's got to do is jump up and reach over him for a corner. And guess what? If you hit him, pass interference.
Like 6'1", 6'2", most corners.
Yeah.
Most corners. Like the biggest corner is 6'4", I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this kid's
6'7".
Like 4X, 5XL.
Yeah.
And what was his vertical?
I think like 38-inch vertical.
Hell, even if
like
it's
that.
33, he's like freaking 4 inches above anybody with a 40.
Above everybody.
Yeah.
His wingspan probably makes him 7'2". So just
who's that? Who's that guy that had a 9-foot wingspan? Wasn't there a football player that had almost a 9-foot wingspan?
There is Jalix Hunt, the guy that we were just talking about.
Hunt, yeah.
His wingspan, I can't remember, it's 83 inches or something like that.
Jesus.
Jalix Hunt.
Yeah, it was like almost 9 feet or something, I thought it was.
That's insane. Like you literally just throw the ball.
He possesses 34 3/8-inch arms and an 82 3/4-inch wingspan.
So like 7.5 feet.
Yeah, that's our edge guy. Can you imagine when he long arms somebody's right tackle? How far away they're going to be from
Clowney had an 83-inch wingspan when he participated in the NFL Combine in 2014.
That's a ridiculous wingspan.
Yeah, no wonder he did that. Yeah, the one that they keep showing the commercial about. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So the one guy I wanted to ask you guys specifically about is Trevor Keegan.
Yeah.
What can you guys tell me about him from a guard perspective?
Trevor Keegan was very consistent his entire career at Michigan. I don't believe he missed very many games. He's a guy that's he's gonna sit there and learn. He's gonna learn from the veterans. He's gonna be a great guy that's probably gonna come off the bench. He's a great team player. He bought into the whole Michigan thing, never wavered, never left. I believe he was a 4-star recruit. He never left Michigan, and he stayed there. He was part of one of the best offensive lines in football for a couple of years. You don't get that award, the Remington Award or whatever, for the best offensive line. It was the best center. It was the best center. Who's the guy? They were buddies.
Zach Center? No.
Yeah, Center won it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
On the Remington Award.
That's the kid. Physically, the kid is he's massive. He's 6'8" and like 315 pounds, which is crazy considering Lane Johnson is 6'7", Jordan Mailata is 6'8.5",
but
almost 6'9".
He's raw. I mean, they did a lot of run blocking, run scheming. In the run game, he's probably going to be excellent. He's got to learn pass protection.
For Saquon, I think that's fantastic. But the other thing too is you have 2 guys who are his size that can teach him how to play. And Landon Dickerson is also 6'8".
He got an O-line guru, so there's no issue there.
Yeah.
Jordan Morgan did come in at 6'5", 311. Big body.
Charles, you did say he was big. Matter of fact, the video doesn't say anything negative about him. You say, yeah, he's big. It's gonna be hard to move.
Yeah.
He's gonna be guys
Ran like a
offensive line
5'7",
like
5'07".
Okay, you want to sit here? Let's all have a laugh right now. What do you think Spencer Rattler's 40 time was?
5 flat.
It was pretty damn
5'6",
close.
5.
Like
No, it was 4.97. For a quarterback that only weighs about 185 pounds, that
supposed
is
to be
terrible.
an athletic quarterback at that.
So we've
Not
got
only that,
Tom
yes,
Brady.
Exactly. Tom Brady was also like 200 pounds, and he was probably 4 inches taller than Rattler. Rattler's like 6'1",
Partying at Michigan, that dude had a beer
185.
belly out the ass.
Oh yeah.
Well, he don't have one anymore.
These kids ain't coming out of shape like that anymore. Like it's too much, man.
Except if you're Eddie Lacy.
Yeah. The other kid that we got that I think could be, you're stupid. I think
payback, bitch.
could be really good is Will Shipley out of Clemson, the running back that we picked in the 4th round.
He never got an opportunity at Clemson, really, with their team. They kept having injuries and shit. Had he stayed there, had he been there when like Lawrence was there, probably he would have been awesome.
Oh yeah, the whole, the one thing that kills me about people in the NFL though, and we can move on after this, is the small school bullshit. Quinyon Mitchell came from Toledo. Oh, you picked a small school corner. How is he gonna do against that? Motherfucker, look at the Senior Bowl. Look at his tape. You don't just I don't care who you're playing. You don't get 4 picks in a game and that doesn't translate into the pro level. Like the dude is a monster.
The top
Charles said it a long time ago.
The top 3 receivers in NFL history, what college did they attend?
A timeout though. The
Probably
one
Boston
had a drug
College.
problem and was forced into one of those tiny schools.
Doesn't matter. What school did he
It
go
was at Boston,
What is
Boston
Jared-
College,
what-
Marshall.
There's a Marshall and
Missouri State Valley,
yeah.
and then even with Shannon Sharp, Antonio Gates, all them. They all went
TCUs,
to small, not powerhouse schools.
I've always thought myself, if I was fucking top dog, I'd be going to one of the tater tots just to rip some shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, your tape would look fucking fantastic.
Hell yeah.
That's why.
Especially as a running back.
even-
Let's say a running back, a 5-star running back, go to like a mid conference school.
Let's talk about this for a second. How about the fact that Calvin Johnson went to a team that ran like the option? He went to Georgia Tech. They ran the option there. They weren't even a passing school. One of the best receivers coming out of high school, and he goes, "I'm going to Georgia Tech." There was no NIL money back then.
Yeah.
You
What
know
the
what's
fuck,
funny,
dude?
man?
The Bumblebee is cool.
Yeah, I guess the Bumblebee's cool.
The small school, like imagine that's why I think Jalix Hunt caught the attention that he caught is because Houston Christian is a tiny school. If you watch his freaking tape, he's strong arming offensive tackles. He's got this crazy stunt into the inside from the edge. But again, he's playing against people who in like a year will be working as department store managers and fucking Walmart dealers and shit.
Imagine if Derrick Henry would have went to Toledo,
Appalachian
or
State,
Ohio, Miami,
He might have got 2,500, 3,000 yards.
a season.
every single season he played. Yeah,
Well,
all
they
4
had
years.
guys that were going for 1,600 on their team, and he could have surpassed that probably in 6 games.
Oh, I got one more thing. So this is not football related. This is personal. The independent wrestling world lost a really good guy this past week. He ran a podcast called We Love Wrestling. His name was Trey D. He put me, when I first started my old podcast, he was always so positive and so supportive and so loving. If you look on Twitter and look up We Love Wrestling, you will see the amount of love that he's been getting from people. I just want to give him, Trey, we never got to meet, but you were always so good to me and always so good to my show and had nothing but nice things to say about me and about everybody else. So Trey, rest in peace, big dog. Rest in peace.
Don't cry, Mike. Don't cry.
I might. Oh, well.
Okay. I'll hold you.
It's okay. No, I have somebody with a feminine touch to hold me. It's okay.
Someone with a feminine touch to hold you.
My titties ain't good enough.
I'm saying my wife's titties are better than yours.
There you go. Speaking of a feminine touch, Charles, what a way to lead our way into the Packers' first round draft pick. How do we feel about it?
I'm gonna relax.
We're both disappointed. The look on your face
back.
right now is the same look that we got to see when they did draft
Jordan Morgan.
Morgan.
I'm just gonna sit back a little bit and enjoy these sunflower seeds and watch this flame out for the third time.
So what we knew about Jordan Morgan, according to Charles, was he's big. I'm going to quote you. Let me get my quotes in before you break it down.
I was just trying to look through the
He's
comments.
He's going to be hard to move.
See who we could give
That's
the
all we
T-shirt
know about
to.
him.
But, yeah.
His knock from you was that he played at a Pac-10 school. He's a big guy, of course. You said he'll be hard to move. He's gonna be.
Really, I would be. The thing is that I would be effing stoked if this was pick 48 and not pick 25. Like that's my biggest. That's my biggest problem with this is that he would have been there at 48.
Oh,
I mean,
probably.
Yeah, exactly. Now, even if he turns in to the next, like Bakhtiari 2.0, he still would have been there at 45.
The fact that Gutenkist had to defend the pick and say that he's a great guy, he's a great team player, he's going to do well.
He would have been there at 48. He would have been there at 41. Cool. No matter what he says, no matter what anybody else fucking says, he would have been there at 41. Is the only reply to it. That is my biggest problem. I wish nothing but the best for him. I think it is fucking awesome. Another offensive lineman. I love offensive linemen. You love offensive linemen. But he would have been there at 41.
So he was, this is a collective thing. We all agree that was definitely not their number one guy on the board. That might not even have been their number two guy on the board.
No way.
That was probably number 3, maybe number 4 on the board for them.
But even if that was the case, why do you jump so far down on the board to grab somebody, like Charles said, that there's a very good 98% chance he was going to be there in the second, maybe even in the third round? There was no reason to not go for it.
Not only that pick came in quick. That pick after Philly, it came in quick. It wasn't like
he wasn't even halfway through Charles saying that maybe we might trade it, and then as soon as he said traded, Mike says picks in, and I swear Charles was like at the chocolate factory. He thought he was about to grab Cooper DeJean. He was about to put a pre-order jersey on deck for Green Bay.
He thought he got the golden ticket at Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, and he was going in to freaking get himself some goodies.
Now I have multiple questions though, right? Because here's the thing: 41 was right there, and Cooper was right there. He went on pick 41. Who was also there at 25, but he went to pick I think it was 41, right? Or no, 40. Pick or
40.
Wasn't it? Pick 40. Yeah, he ended up going.
And waited for Jordan Morgan in the second round.
Yeah,
I'm with you. It doesn't make sense.
Even if he is David Bakhtiari, he would have been there at 41.
The only offensive lineman that would have made sense at you guys' pick is Joe Alt. That's
if
it.
he fell that far,
if
yeah,
he
absolutely.
Would have fallen that far, but he didn't.
Could I give you guys a fact that
and him
I
going
just
to
I just googled where was Jordan Morgan selected in the mock draft? Do you guys? You don't even want to know.
93.
No, 48.
48. 48.
That's more of what he because I think you said he was like the 34th best prospect or something.
Yeah.
He was not a first round talent.
And again, it's not that it's a bad pick. Nobody's mad at the kid.
No, absolutely not.
It's the value of that position because now you have a tackle that you're paying $10 million extra.
Paying first. Yeah, you're paying first
round salary.
Too.
It's not a Green Bay Packer thing to do, but at the time, I believe Xavier Worthy was still on the board. Like you could have even just went for a fucking Xavier Worthy, who would have been an immediate over-the-top game changer for your defense. And I know it's not a Green Bay Packer thing to do, but again, the pick you took at 25 would have been there at 41, and it would have been there at 48.
Y'all picking him at 25. It changes your draft grade dramatically because let's just say, just for story purposes, that could go easily. Let's just say somebody said that's a C grade draft pick. But then let's say you would have picked him up in the second round. That could have easily
That's
been
an
a high, low A grade because
Yeah.
of where he was projected to go and where he was slotted to get picked up at. And he got picked a whole 30-some-odd picks sooner than what he was supposed to be.
It's like taking a fucking kicker in fantasy in the third round.
Oh.
Sure. But here's the thing. Is this guy going to back? Is he going to start?
No.
If he's not going to start, you don't take this guy in the first round.
No, and that's what I'm saying.
9 times out of 10, if you get picked in the first round, there's a good chance that you're going to start.
Or at least you're competing to start. I don't think he's even going to compete to start.
See,
no, I doubt it too. Because Bakhtiari was you guys' left tackle, right?
Yeah. He's 37 starts at left.
Okay, so
and
he
now,
has experience at left tackle.
Yes,
so now
37
here's the
games.
story on the kid too, right? There is something inside of me that's telling me college football is still about the progression of the player / student athlete's future.
Okay.
Now, Morgan, before his injury, was a high first round draft pick projected.
What was his injury?
ACL.
Yeah.
Okay, so now here's my thing, right? Maybe Arizona just ensured the longevity of this kid's career over the progression of that season's football team.
So you're saying that the Packers probably took him because they knew he was going to sit behind.
So there is the first rounder in him, but regardless of the entirety of it, you're never going to know until the hindsight 2020 draft grade. And it doesn't matter what the fuck that kid ends up being. I hope he ends up being great. I can't wait to. I hope to meet him and all this other shit, right?
All over again.
But it doesn't matter because he would have been there at 41 or 48. He would have been there at 41 or 48. Even
he definitely would have been there at 41.
Yes.
Yeah, there was. It just the other thing that you guys did, and not to. I want to talk about this too. Is you guys took 2 linebackers in the draft.
The kid from Missouri, I'm excited about. To be honest with you,
really?
I'm super excited about him.
The kid from Missouri. I just was like,
yeah, Missouri's got a good defense. We have the middle of the field was a big hold, and we did lose Devondre Campbell.
The guy from Texas A&M was the best linebacker in the SEC.
And I think he could end up being this fucking draft's best linebacker. Period.
Oh, by far, he had 8 sacks. I wanted Edgerrin Cooper for us, but I think you guys got a great deal. I just wasn't expecting a second linebacker.
I wasn't expecting a second linebacker, but you know what? That they need an edge rusher, and I think if he slims down maybe 10 pounds and gains
this
muscle,
is the new defensive coordinator making picks. To be honest with you, this is the new defensive coordinator filling holes he's looked at and went, we need these pieces. And I do believe we're going to be bringing. I've got no knowledge, right? I've got no scuttlebutt at all, other than the universe isn't going to be right if we aren't going out there and picking up one of these top cornerbacks out of the free agency. In my mind, Green Bay's not done doing what they have never done before, ever, until this year, because this year isn't over yet, so they're going to keep doing things they've never done before, unlike the draft, where they did exactly what they do every time.
Let me ask you this then. Do you guys think, Green Bay is notorious, does not have an owner. It is a fan-owned.
Yeah, run into some of those people.
one of those. They took 2 safeties. They don't need safeties.
Yeah. Do you guys think
one of those guys is going to be a corner?
Do you think not having an owner kind of hinders you sometimes during the draft process? Somebody to say, calm the fuck down.
No.
This is my team.
No, because right now Mike Murphy is that guy.
Yeah.
He's you guys' president, right?
He's still there, still calling the shots.
Yeah. If ultimately, Mike Murphy makes those owner decisions. But hell, you can even see, what was it, the Raiders room where the dude just had, was it the Falcons? Either way, it was one of those rooms where like the GM was talking to the owner, like reassuring why they just made the pick.
They were doing that in Dallas too.
Yeah, and Dallas too. So ultimately,
we know who made that pick.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah. So ultimately, what it boils down to, what I was getting at, is that even with an owner, it doesn't matter, right? Like, I think actually the owner hurts more, right? Because you looked at it with the Ford family.
To blame.
The Bears for a little while.
Yeah.
We'll say a little while.
Long while.
Washington. I was being nice that time. Washington.
Why start now?
Look at Dallas' situation. Like,
Dallas for sure.
Jerry Jones doesn't know how to release.
Are you drinking a Rip It, Chuggy?
No, I miss them though. My body
I thought
don't
that
have
was a grape Rip It. I was about to be.
Okay, so since you brought it up, didn't mean to cut you off there, Paul, for a second. But since you brought it up, Walmart Plus is usually how we get our groceries to the house because we're bougie. And
I just bought the subscription, Charles. So
it's fantastic. It's so awesome. I messaged the wife and I'm like,
Plus over here.
Yeah, I'm like, what? No cheese? Oh, cheese is on the way.
I'll get you some cheese.
I got you some cheese.
Cheese.
So anyways, but I get these. What I normally get are the Walmart sparkling water, the mandarin orange ones. Yeah. Super great. But every once in a while, the picker goes to the aisle and goes, "Oh, it's not here." So instead of just checking that, you must like anything else I get in the cart. And this time, it was black cherry.
Charles, is this what rotates your gears in the house?
Oh, man.
Let me tell you something.
Pisses me off, man.
Because sometimes the way these fucking curbside, these Walmart Plus,
I don't want to picking up my fruit, dude, or my bananas or my fucking
so there was
meat.
I like hot dogs, okay? I don't care. I'm not calling them glizzies. I like hot dogs.
Thank you, God, for not doing that.
It's stupid. I like hot dogs. And so I just wanted hot dogs one day. So she went and put in an order for the buns, the hot dog, the ketchup, like all the everything, chips, all that jazz. These motherfuckers.
They got you the bootleg, the off-brand.
No. Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's scoot up a little bit.
Oh shit!
If there's a substitution, let's just say for sandwich meat, you ask for turkey. What's a suitable non-piss you off replacement?
Chicken.
That's pretty fucking logical, right?
Did they give you ham?
No, these
I
asked for hot dogs.
Uh-huh.
Hot dogs. They gave me turkey bologna. You couldn't have gave me a turkey dog? Sausage?
I thought you were going to go vegan. It was so much better than vegan.
Yeah. I had no idea where that was going, but that's
I had no idea.
Hey, if you roll up enough of them, you could put a toothpick in it, beat around the toothpick.
Meat is meat.
You didn't even notify us that you made the change. You just made the change on your own.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing now. Yeah, we don't even get a notification or nothing.
What am I supposed to do with hot dog buns and turkey bologna?
Look, here's what you do. You use it as a sub roll. You put the turkey bologna in there, put the cheese.
It's not the same.
There's a whole ass option for you to go, hey, it's not here, sorry. And then I go, okay.
Like a hot dog.
Then I'll deal with it. Yeah.
But instead you go out your way. Yeah. Who the fuck do these people think they are, to be honest with you? Now that I'm thinking about it deeply, right? Who the fuck do you think you are? Just shopping for some random person. You know what the hell I want. That's fucked up.
Give me the courtesy and tell me that it's not there.
How much you get paid for that too, right? Like you're just, oh, this is my life. Turns out my wife was one of those. She did not do that. She works somewhere else now, though, so I could really go off.
She didn't pick.
Hell no, she hit that. She hit that option. Not here, right?
Yeah, that's.
Actually, she would reach out for a substitute,
and the thing is,
and then if you didn't reply before she was done shopping, she would then click not here.
But that's the thing. They got the little like iPad like scanner thing that they can literally just
and listen, people. Listen, here's the big thing. Walmart gives all of their employees phones, except those shoppers. So if they got the blue cart, don't ask them because it's their personal phone. Chances are you're not going to get their personal phone. But everyone else has a work phone. And that work phone, all it is an app. It's just like Facebook, but easier, right? It's a fucking app, and all they got to do is search in what you're asking for. So if anybody out there, if any Walmart employee out there gives you shit, you just look at them and call them whatever you want. Because they're being exactly that in that moment to you, I promise.
Like I get some things are.
Some of them are really great. I really like.
They run out of stuff, but it's like always the stuff that you want the most. You're telling me that there's nothing of that. They're just out of stuff. But let me go to the store. Like,
you can't tell me they were out of hot dogs. They weren't out of fucking hot dogs.
Yeah, HEB doesn't run out of hot dogs.
I would try to say like maybe they were colorblind, but this is a whole fucking shape. How are you shape blind? How are you shape blind?
Go from a tube to a pancake hot dog.
We're talking get a crepe from a waffle. How are you that far off?
You should have let Charles do a review for you.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
That's what we should do from now on. Let's do some food reviews.
The kicker is, though, is it's that same old story, though.
Food review for
yeah.
you.
Oh, hell yeah. I definitely.
Is all over
but
this.
listen, very carefully. It's the same old story. You don't fuck with the people fucking with your food. These people, that's what I'm saying. 40% of fucking DoorDashers or whoever they were, don't quote me on the name, admitted to trying the food, which means there's another 30 to 40% out there who are like,
you don't even know.
You dumb. I'm not getting rid of my free meals. You just take the good with the bad. But the cool thing about the Walmart Plus thing is that you could go in there and take that fucking tip back. Right? Yeah, I'll give you a $10 tip on that shit. You got to go less than 2 miles. It's a $10 tip. If you don't think or listen to the directions, it's a $0 tip. A motherfucking zero.
Oh,
figure it out.
When we order
tips the other day.
I don't tip when we order groceries like that. Fuck that. That's the same thing as going to a pizza place, ordering on the inside, and they ask you for a tip. Inside there, get the fuck out of my face. You're doing your job.
There's this food truck that just opened up down the street, and they do like when you do constructions, they got like those little to-go places or whatever that roll up. So this food truck came up to this work where they're working. I got some tacos, and I put in my card to pay, and it said, "Do you want a tip?" I'm like, "No." And the lady was like, "So you're not gonna tip us?" No. I'm right here. Yeah. You're gonna do what you're gonna do regardless. Yeah. What's
That's like ordering
difference?
Chinese food, and you put the order in, and you go to pick it up.
Why am I paying you to pick up something while I'm picking it up?
Yeah. Guess what I'm not going to do now either. I'm not tipping you, and I'm never coming back.
Never.
It could have been the best fucking taco of my life, and it'll be the best taco I'll never have again.
Dude, that's why, like, now when I sign for shit,
it's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
Bro, when I sign for shit, the tip area gets filled out with a giant zero, a slash through that bitch, and a money sign. You cannot fake my. When I no, hell no.
Yeah. Is it like when
I'll leave cash on the table.
Bought food. They did that to us. I'm like, we stiffed your ass because you were shitty, and whoever filled it over the card, they filled it in with a 20.
Oh yeah, the included gratuity or whatever.
Well, because they knew we weren't from around there. We weren't going to come back to that bar and be like, "Hey, we did not leave a tip."
Yeah. Oh, I'd be getting mine back too. No, it is. It's super frustrating. It's the same thing like walking into Starbucks now. You an idiot if you think you just walk into Starbucks and get something to drink. Like, because like there's like these random priorities, and the drive-through isn't the number one priority. Oh, no. The app is the number one priority.
Then the
drive-through.
Don't want ice in your coffee or your ice drink. They'll charge you an upcharge for not having ice in it, or for
because it's an inconvenience.
That's because the volume. Yeah, I know, but it's the volume. Because with ice, you put less drink in. Yep. Without the ice, you got to fill it up. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Fuck that. I agree.
I don't care. I'm paying for the cup. It doesn't matter if there's ice in it. There's piss in it. It doesn't matter. I'm still paying for the price of the whole cup.
Every time I get like
Give me what's in the cup.
I always get no ice because I'm like, it's already cold for one.
I wish people who.
That's true.
I guess you get free straight black coffee refills from Starbucks, and I wish more straight black coffee people. Yeah, like I wish more straight black coffee people.
Let's do it. Let's start doing it.
We're gonna get in trouble for that one.
Let's go around.
But just sit there and fucking drink the coffee all fucking day long.
Let's get the cameras. Let's get the cameras. Got podcast gear. We'll get
6 days in, we'd all have a heart attack.
No, all right. Listen to me right here.
Yeah.
L mic's on. We'll get the GoPro on the freaking head or the chest. We're gonna go in there. We're gonna order our coffee, get our 12-ounce, whatever you call them, the fucking lattes, whatever our cup. What the fuck's a small anyway?
I say we're gonna get small, large. I don't do all that.
Yeah, medium, small, large. I still fucking go with English here.
Yeah, they always come back. Whatever it is.
There, and you and I are gonna go rounds until we can't drink coffee anymore, and let's see how many freebies we can get. We'll have in the chat box. We'll go live on YouTube and go. Ding, 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 every time we have a cup of coffee and see when they kick us out.
I gotta get a full one of these first.
How many before you think they kick us out?
No, it's there. You can't.
They could kick us out for loitering.
Not if we're consuming a free product they're giving. We're literally
but I'm saying I've heard they've been known to kick people out. They'll figure out. I'm not saying they won't. They'll try to kick us out
because it's. I don't know.
12, they'll kick us out.
Probably.
Especially now that they probably know we're going to do this, we'll have to do it to a different Starbucks.
Yeah. The other kicker too is I hate black coffee. So
well, who cares? Let's go do it in a Target or something where there's a bunch of bougie.
There's a Barnes and Noble over the Barnes and Noble.
We'll get in front. We'll cut in front of them for.
I've come to find out the Starbucks and Barnes and Noble have some form of like super top shelf syrups. And it's there's no I get the drink.
Yeah.
The drink.
And they're so much different than like the fast food Starbucks. If I can get into the Barnes and Noble Starbucks, that's where the wife and I go.
Charles, you can get in Barnes and Noble and you can get sports cards, so it's a win.
Yeah, that's why we went to Barnes and Noble. That's actually why because I found out about the sports cards. I was like,
like big ass kid in a candy
store. Charles, what's the selection like there for sports cards?
It's not bad, actually. It's fucking terrible. It's disgusting. I would never go there ever. It's so bad. I'll tell you after the show how fucking awesome it is.
So yeah, they do that. Like,
it's all back behind the counters.
We did this in Domino's when I worked at Domino's too. Like our Domino's on base, or our Domino's that are in any high traffic, high money areas. The sauces are different. They get better quality dough. They get the premier cheese. They get better ingredients. It's because they want you to
better
sit
pizza.
for long.
Papa John's is trash.
Yeah.
Papa John's is better than Domino's. I fucking hate
Bullshit. Domino's is top tier. Bro.
I actually, what is it? Oh no, the Papa Murphy Tuesdays. Oh man, Papa Murphy's Tuesdays, take and bake, $10.99. That's so good.
Considering that you have to bake it yourself, it's a pretty damn good pizza.
Yeah, hell yeah, it's a good pizza. They teach
You're like,
you
man, I
that.
did a really good job of making a pizza.
Side note, other fucked up people. Department of Transportation. I have confirmed without confirming why our roads are worse than Rome's.
Okay, let's hear
because
it.
we're fatter.
To ensure the longevity of careers.
That's true.
Road mixes are mixed to fail to ensure that I get to come back 3 to 4 years later to fix this or repave it. It's a fucking cycle.
And all of that thing with iPhone, same thing with cell phones and all this other stuff.
I'm just saying.
Been this way forever.
So we don't have to ask why we don't do shit like Rome anymore. It's capitalistic America. Grow the fuck up.
It's not going anywhere.
Did you
the
say
fucking twists and turns our conversations take is why I love coming
product failure to ensure economic longevity.
And your car keeps getting jacked up.
Yeah.
So then you have to go buy a new car or pay the mechanic or blah, 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 blah.
They've got
so what's going to fix this is more taxes.
Calm down, Joe Biden.
You can't run for office.
More taxes.
Charles. Not exactly because you're coherent, but
remember, chat, this all started because somebody fucking sent me the wrong goddamn water. We wouldn't even be on this side quest if it wasn't for this water.
Very true.
Yes, but we did get there, and it led to a couple of really good things.
That's hilarious. So the one question that you guys have on the ticker that I am interested in asking is the one about if all 4 leagues having the crossover is affecting fan viewership. That's the one that I want to talk about.
Major League Baseball, it's affecting Charles right now when he was watching the Yankees Brewers because they had some terrible umpiring.
These umpires suck ass.
We need a ranking system. We need a fucking ranking system for the umpires. Grading. Grading or ranking.
Be allowed to grade the umpires.
It needs to happen because the atrocities that are happening. I'm not. For 2 things would have happened today. One, I was watching the game, turned it off. Immediately turned it off. Not because of the team losing, but because everything that was happening was because of the one situation via the umpires, right? I switch games now when I notice who's at the plate behind them. I'd rather just catch a recap.
Oh, come on. Are you talking you don't like watching Angel Hernandez games?
Bro,
I'm with your plan, right?
Yeah.
I know you said drop them down to the minors. Now, are you just dropping the one umpire, or are you dropping
the whole staff?
Well, so the thing is that
or is it just one?
Well, it's a grading. There's individual and team grades. You would have to get super deep into it. You would have to, right? Because in this instance here, yes, The entire ump crew needed to be retrained because you had brought all four in, you talked, you took up way too much time, and then still came to the wrong decision. So what even were you talking about?
Who's winning the most in this game?
Absolutely, yeah. There is the thought that comes into the mind, how much money do you have on that guy? Because there's no consistency in it anymore. This is a strike, this is a ball. I was watching meatballs down the middle of the plate get looked at, and if the batter backed up like this, it was a ball. And I'm like, what the fuck?
I watched
and
the
it's
highlight.
Clearly down the middle. Like it's
clear.
There's no like space between the ball and the box.
Yeah,
you can't go 15 minutes in a game without the commentators going, that was a strike, but it was called a ball, or whoa, they called that a strike.
I was watching a highlight. You guys know I hate baseball, but even me, I was watching a highlight of Juan Soto at the plate for the Yankees.
Yeah.
And three in a row outside the plate by at least 12 inches.
Yeah.
And
old boy watched 7.
I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, my dead grandmother can call strikes better than this. Is crazy.
Stevie Wonder.
Old boy watched 7 balls and struck out.
Really see.
Yeah. Old boy at the plate watched 7 balls and struck out.
I remember watching the highlights from that. They're like, and they had the ball tracker on every one. It was like,
there's so much technology there. And the thing is you don't get the option to challenge every one of his calls because he's right 30% of the time. So you'll eventually lose the challenge and then miss out on all of those other 70%. So to elaborate a little bit more on Paul's question, if the situation called for it, yes, you would bump that whole crew down, but you would end up having to create this farm system. But saying it like it's not impossible. We're talking about billion-dollar entertainment industries. The least you could do is get one of the key pieces to your entertainment correct. And if you're unwilling to AI it, you need to personalize it more.
Yeah. And it's not saying that they're not going to get it right every single time. But the amount of missed calls that has been happening for the last 2-3 years and it's getting worse. Every season, it's at some point
progressively
you got to do something to fix this and get a hold of it.
I think in the chat, the percentage number I'm putting on it is,
I think you said 88%.
88% or greater on an average over a 15-game calendar, right? So every 15 games, this number gets reevaluated because you have some bad days. I get that. Maybe the sun's in your eye for a couple of calls. You can't have them out there thinking that every single miss is going to be the end of their career. You'll get an even worse product.
Yeah. What kills me is the MLB invested in the pitch clock and this improvement,
all the
that
money.
improvement, all this shit. I don't think helped the game at all. It may speed it up a lot.
Right.
But the problem is, I don't give a fuck how fast the game is. If Juan Soto, who is a superstar, is getting strikes called 12 inches outside of the plate, your pitch count, I don't give a fuck about the pitch count.
If I have to move outside of the plate because I don't want to get hit with the ball, why are you calling this a strike?
Exactly. It's fucking insane.
Dude's kneecap,
like I'm literally moving out of the box so I don't get hit with the 98-mile fastball or 83 curve. Like, how are you calling that a strike? Where are your eyes?
The baseball commissioner needs to get fired. This is crazy.
In the Brewers game here, right? So it's a double play ball. There's no outs. Okay, so it's a double play ball. Aaron Judge literally puts his hand up like this and it's his glove hand, the one that's covered, that you're supposed to slide with.
Yeah.
And he puts it up just like this and swats the fucking ball out of the air. The umpires come together, talk. They didn't see nothing wrong with it.
The fuck?
So the next pitch is a pop fly.
Hold on. He touched the ball.
I'm telling you, it fucking.
He's swinging at the ball.
In the batter's box.
No, while he was running to second base, he went to slid.
You can't touch the ball. You're out.
Absolutely.
It wasn't like an accidental.
No, hell no.
Either way, you're out either way.
Absolutely.
Interference. That's a double play.
All the umpires got together, took about 1 minute to talk about it, and then came out and was like, yeah, no, everything's fine. So the next pitch, pop up, 2 outs, 37 pitches later, the Yankees have 11 runs. It's what the
been a double play off of interference.
Not only should have been a double play, it shouldn't even have been reviewed because if you touch the ball with your hand, it's considered you're out.
And it was the hand that you slide with. It was the hand you protected. Yeah. Like the only reason that hand's up there is to fuck with shit.
Yeah.
Even so if you kick the ball by accident, it's interference.
Yeah. So unless Aaron Judge is doing this from now on for every fucking baseball game for the rest of his fucking life, there's some explaining to do here.
And it's too late now. The game's over. So what is the office gonna do now? The New York office ain't gonna do shit.
No, because what do you? I mean, and really, all it does, it destroyed the Brewers' plus minus and runs. It is what it is, and the game will move on. 143 games down the road, no one's gonna be talking about it.
Yeah,
pull it up.
All right, let's
see if this video justifies my reaction.
I'm already upset, and I didn't see it.
And look, I'm a Yankees fan. I'm a Yankees fan, so
right.
I hate stupid shit like that.
It was befuddling, dude.
There's nothing to, and it's the thing. You shouldn't be this angry about something that's clearly so obvious.
Well, you know what gets me too is like you guys said.
See this chunk.
It's 4-4 right now.
Like I always say, you watch baseball every day.
Okay,
that's a strike.
No, that was a ball.
Not the inning here. This pitch was called a ball.
That's a ball.
That was a ball.
That's a ball. That was a.
Wait, it gets even better. They check his glove. Now that they check his glove.
Check his glove for what?
Shaking his head.
God. Now Aaron Judge is on first base. Verdugo hits a ground ball, which looks like a routine double play.
Boy, get the fuck out of here.
Look at this. Look at this.
Knocks the ball
down.
Oh, yeah, he put his
First of all,
look at that.
First of all, let's just pause this for a second. Pause this for a second.
Argument was.
We don't need to hear the guy's argument because we're all in agreement.
He's
not even a Brewers fan.
I've never.
He's like us.
I'm a Cubs fan. Okay.
Yeah.
And I hate you guys not as much as I do the Cardinals. However, never in my life. I grew up playing baseball. Baseball is my absolute first love of any sport known to mankind. I have never seen, never heard, never witnessed any coach tell a base runner to slide and jack your arm up like that.
Absolutely.
Never in the history of
I've never seen any coach, any first base coach tell their player, hey, when you're sliding feet first, make sure you put your dominant hand up. It's unheard of.
Not only
it
that,
doesn't happen.
No.
He shouldn't have even been on base. He should have struck out the pitch we had seen at the very beginning of the video.
That's
and a double play without even question.
Then the umpire has the gusto to come over and ask to see his glove mid-pitching. That's something you do at the beginning of the inning or at the end of the inning. You don't do that middle of the freaking inning.
This is what I don't get. Like
that Vegas had money on that?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, the only time I've ever seen them check a pitcher's glove in the middle of pitching is if they're suspecting them of having pine tar on their shit, or the stickums on their shit. That the release of his ball was clean. The break was crisp, like
on a 100-mile-an-hour pitch.
Crazy ball.
Literally right there on the box.
It was an inch inside the strike zone on a guy. I get it. Aaron Judge is 6'8" or whatever the fuck he is, so his strike zone's a little weird, but it was still on the inside of the plate. Like it was way further away.
It was above 50-50. It was above a 50-50 call.
This is the thing. It wasn't that it was too high or too low because it was right there.
Yeah.
They had this much space between the top of the box and it was inside the box. So what are you calling? And so then on top of that, you're literally all three of you blind little fucks are going to be okay with this man putting his hand up to block a ball.
It's not like it was Jose Altuve. You can't tell me you didn't see him. The dude's a giant.
And it's sunny outside, so I know you see it.
The dude's a fucking giant. Who's he waving to?
The biggest
in
guy.
my life have I seen that.
Biggest guy in baseball,
disgusting.
I think.
I've seen Aaron Judge slide before. You know what he's never done?
He waved to the crowd.
Like
with the hand he's supposed to slide with.
Yeah, that's crazy.
On a double play ball that he knew he was out.
Hey, guess what? Had that hand not had that glove on it, he wouldn't have put his hand up.
He wouldn't have put his hand on it. Hell no.
Yeah, why do you think he puts that hand up
because
there?
that throw is 80 some miles an hour on the average. I think 83, 84 on the average.
He'd have put his hand
and Adames isn't average. Yeah.
Would have shattered his hand. That's crazy.
See, calls like that, it's just as bad as like when They fuck up perfect pitches, like perfect games, no hitters, all that shit. It's like you're messing up the integrity of the game when you're doing shit like this. I'm like, and I'm telling you, I've been a fan of this sport all my life. And when I see stupid shit like this, it makes me want to turn the TV off.
And I did. When I turned the TV off, it was still in that inning. It was 7-4. Turns out it ended up being like 15-5 or something crazy like that.
Fan here, we're a fan of the sport. Like you said, it's ruining the integrity of the game. We just brought it up with Soto. You brought it up with Adames to first base play with freaking Aaron Judge. It's happened multiple other games too. This isn't the first time.
Yeah,
it's too early in the season for this bullshit.
Yeah.
Before this Angel Hernandez guy, when's the last umpire's name you knew?
Oh, what's that old
the guy that had the scandal, the betting scandal was the last one.
And that's been how long ago though?
20 years probably.
That's what I'm saying. You should never know an umpire's name. They should never affect the game so much, just like refs in any other sport.
Just like the Ed Hockey League.
Exactly. They should never ever affect the game so much that you know who the fucking umpire is. That's retarded.
Yeah. Currently, there isn't an NFL referee that I would be able to pick out of an everyday crowd.
No, Ed Hockey Lee's son is pretty evident. You'd probably notice him.
Honestly,
huge,
I'm just being honest. I would more or less walk by the guy without a second thought. But right now,
I know who Angel Hernandez is.
I know who Angel Hernandez is. I could pick him. I could pick him, and I could go to a restaurant. I could go anywhere. I could see his nose.
No, not only that. Why would you be able to tell? Because he would get the food and he would go ball.
Yeah. But jokes aside, I know what he looks like and I know him because everything in baseball right now, if it isn't fucking Pete Rose, would be in the Hall of Fame if he had a damn interpreter. It's Hernandez.
Yeah.
That's the crazy, like I said, you should never, ever know an official's name. They should not have that much of an effect on a game because, like, you have the power to decide how a game goes.
Yeah.
Right.
And, like, I'm not a big athlete. I didn't play a bunch of
sports. We need
to
find out if they were nerds in high school.
But in elementary, middle school, I played soccer or whatever, and I did a 6 months training to be a ref for, like, peewee soccer.
Yeah.
The number one goal as a referee in soccer or any is to stay the fuck out of the way.
Yeah.
To remain anonymous and only use your judgment when it absolutely needs to be used. But with, like you said, the technology is there now. My judgment call shouldn't come into effect nearly as much. Especially they have replay in Major League Baseball now too, right?
It's being tested in the minors.
So I might be the big asshole in the room for saying this, but like you just asked, Charles, you said, were they nerds in high school? No.
Yeah.
Angel Hernandez is a failed Cuban baseball player.
Ah.
Even worse.
And this is the thing. This is the shit
police
that
officer.
So he hates athletes.
Yeah.
And this is the thing that sucks. He can't get fired.
Yeah.
He has to retire.
Union. Yeah.
Because of the union.
What?
So the league can't fire him.
Yeah.
But this is the one crazy thing. He hasn't pitched. Let me take that back. He hasn't been able to umpire a World Series, him or his crew, since 2005.
Doesn't matter. Like
But at least he's in the peace of mind that at least in the biggest game of the season, he's nowhere near around it.
But at this point,
he's still calling pennants. He's still calling playoffs. He's still.
If I'm at that game, if I'm at that game, I'm leaving.
Okay.
Once those 3 runs are gone, I'm leaving.
The last playoff game that he's the last playoff game that he's is 2021. So he hasn't done anything in the last 2 years. But that was also just a division series. So he hasn't done a LCS or a World Series since.
That's because he had gambling debts and needed a little extra money and was yelling and complaining.
You want to hear something that's going to disgust you. You're not going to be surprised, but this is going to disgust you.
Yeah.
All right. April 8th. 2019, Boston University published a study of 11 seasons of Major League Baseball data, almost 4 million pitches analyzed, determined the accuracy of balls and strikes called. The study found Hernandez performed stronger in 2018 than his average of 2008 to 2018. He averaged 19 incorrect calls a game, or 2.2 per inning. I'm sorry, But that says this is the bottom of Major League Baseball. So he is the worst umpire.
2.2 calls an
incorrect
inning
calls
he gets wrong.
per inning, whether that's a ball, a strike. That's terrible. I get it. You're going to make a mistake in the game.
Good things are coming from this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, the good things are coming from this. Good things will come from this because it's going to affect. Because we're laughing about gambling. We're taking this sometimes. We're taking this in a light where they have money on it, but in reality, Vegas is probably going to start losing money because of it. Because
they'll be the ones making the changes.
Even if I have that information in front of me, okay, he's going to get 2.2 calls wrong. There's no way I can know what those calls are. There's no way I could know that old boy was going to swat the fucking ball down and flip the over from 7
to 4
to fucking 30 in a baseball game.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Sure. What was that? That was an 11-7 run inning, right?
Yeah. Because by the time I was done watching the game, they were up 11-4. And it ended 15-4, right? It was 4-4. It was 4-4, and in that sequence, the inning was over.
It should have been.
In that sequence that they destroyed, the inning was over. 30-some pitches later, and you hear the comment, "Oh, you can't let one call snowball it out." It's like this. I get it, but no, because there was like 6 calls in that sequence that ensured those runs across the plate. Nothing the player could have done could have changed that. The strikeout that wasn't called, the double play interference,
Let me read you some things about Mr. Angel Hernandez.
Yes, please. Yes, please. This is what the MLB wants. We're going to give it to them. Please.
In 2017, in July, we're just going to start from the top. 2017, July, he filed a federal lawsuit against the MLB because he felt like he was getting racially discriminated, that he wouldn't get promoted to crew chief, and he wasn't getting an umpire any World Series in 2005. Since 2005. Guess how that worked out? It didn't work out, right? Because he's never been promoted to a crew chief. Let me read you some stats on this motherfucker. Hernandez, in 1999, he was ranked out of 36 umpires in the MLB Players Association. In 1999, he was ranked out of 36 umpires.
36.
You got 36, Mike? What you got, Charles?
29.
Pat?
33.
31st out of 36, right?
I was closest without going over.
It gets worse. It gets worse. In 2006 and 2011, he was listed as the 3rd worst baseball umpire in Sports Illustrated polls. In 2010, in ESPN survey, he showed 22% of Major League ball players identified Hernandez as the worst umpire in baseball history.
History?
Listen to this. In not once, not twice, but 3 years in a row, 16, 17, 18, Hernandez calls at first base were overturned 14 out of 18 times.
Wow.
This year in one game, he was challenged 5 times.
Yeah. 5 times in a game?
5 times, yeah. And he was and 4 for 5, and they couldn't challenge him anymore because they lost it. But they got 4 right, they got the 5th one wrong.
And then that ends the challenges.
But even that was a bang one too. It was
absolutely. Yeah. And the thing that really pisses me off about this too is that there is a new AI system coming, but the system is perfect. The utilization of the system is terrible. You literally give the pitcher or the catcher about 1.5 seconds to go yay or nay, and if you end up going yeah and it's a nay, you don't ever get to call it again.
That's so crazy.
But just for that game, though.
I don't know if it's the inning or that game.
Probably the game.
Or that pitcher or that catcher. But
he has to go. Ultimately, Angel Hernandez and anyone that's in the realm of his
tree.
Anybody that's in his tree that calls strikes and balls the way he does and just they have to get reviewed. Somehow, some ways, the Players Association has to do something. They have to implement something in the next CBA where it's different because right now it's not working, and you're gonna take viewerships away from the game.
Yeah.
Because if you keep getting shitty plays like this and shitty games, the fans are not going to want to watch bullshit.
Well, viewership's going to.
I could guarantee you, myself and my father-in-law, at the exact same time, turned the channel.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Because that's a bullshit call.
Yeah.
This is the thing, right? You have people like me who are not fans, who already hate baseball enough because it's slow, it's boring, whatever the myriad of reasons.
Now you're justifying it.
And then you turn on the TV and it's, every sport has issues with officiating at one point or another, right? We've seen the NBA ref who lost his job.
Shout out to the NHL, though. Shout out to the NHL. To be completely fair, I don't hear about stories. I don't watch the NHL much. I watch a hell of a lot of the playoffs.
You don't see no clips about the shit about.
But I don't see clips. I don't hear clips. I fucking Shorzy every once in a while. But goddamn,
Shorzy.
Like,
but you're not getting this kind of
so
and shit in NHL like you do with football, with the NFL.
Well, and in fact, not only
even the NBA.
Not only do you not hear it as much, clips coming out of hockey where a lineman or a line judge or whatever they're called in hockey, a ref, will come onto the ice. And I saw this clip, I don't know, a couple weeks ago where he's, look, you guys are not going to like it, but the call on the ice was right.
Yeah.
At least that.
Yeah, they have VR correct. It's crazy. I love hockey. I do. And playoff hockey is fantastic. I can't wait to break some more of that down. For our listeners out there, as I was chit-chatting, as we were all chatting, I was going through and looking at some of the comments for our videos, and there is not enough comments for the giveaways. Y'all need to start commenting. Yep. I want the shirt. Want it. They don't want it. I don't think people want free shit. Whatever.
I like free shit.
So
we'll just
again,
give it to each other. The boys in the woods will give us something, and we'll give you guys
swap
something.
it out.
So we're gonna give you guys this week to spread out, get out there on these episodes. I want the shirt. I want the T-shirt. I love Heat Check.
We're watching.
We're waiting for the comments.
Yep.
We love you guys. We know you can. We've given you shit already. So let's give you some more shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all listening. We appreciate your connectivity. Just you as a person, you as a listener. Gentlemen, did you have anything else you wanted to throw on the table?
I just got one thing to say. I got one thing to say. I just want to know, what is the issue with you people and this Meek Mill song on our video? Why are y'all so butthurt?
I don't care.
Did you see that Meek Mill thing that I sent you, though?
It's engagement, though. So
it is. Come on, man. Just leave it. You can't tell me it wasn't. You can't tell me it wasn't the best idea to put that song in there.
Well, the other thing too is the song that we use. The song that he used is one of when we won the Super Bowl in 2017.
It's Philly. That song is Philly.
Yeah.
Like, what the? I don't get.
I'm still shocked y'all ain't talking much about the fact that they all squatting each other.
Oh, you talking about Jalen and
they're gonna have
Saquon?
They're gonna have a squad off.
They gotta have a squad off. If we don't get videos of a squad off,
we gotta have a squad off.
They're not
There's
real.
Another one. Our young bull, Will Shipley, the running back, squats 500 pounds too.
It's gonna be a squad off. There's gonna be they're gonna have the freaking music pounding in the locker room.
Like running back squats as much as an offensive lineman. I'm just our rookie
that's
lineman.
insanity.
Something I did want to throw on the table coming up for all of our viewers' enjoyment purposes.
Oh yeah,
you'll get to see myself beat the spit out of PR in MLB The Show.
It ain't happening.
He ain't gonna know what's coming. All right.
And Pat and I will be providing play-by-play done by yours, color commentary done by Pat. We will be in there like swimwear with these guys, and then don't forget to. We're also gonna do a Madden tournament.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just thought of this now, at least for the Heat Check, if viewers want to get involved and do an actual tournament and you play against me and PR or Chucky and Pat, let us know. We can maybe start a whole tournament, do a whole freaking invite list and go from there. The show
I don't mind kicking people's asses.
Well, I mean,
apparently,
if we get to the point we get 32 teams, we could have a hell of a pot going on here at $10 a pop. We could get a trophy or something. Yeah,
we're gonna work out the details. Just be looking at our social medias to see for that sign up, and whenever we get this dialed in and ready to go.
There will be announcements. There will be advertising and promo for the tournament.
Absolutely.
even if we don't do money, maybe we make the prize a shirt or a gift card to one of our stores.
It's gonna be fun either way.
Like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
and you get to talk shit.
Coming up first on that list, we'll have to do a true blue baseball style best of 7 series.
Okay.
It's true blue baseball best of 7.
Details out.
We'll work the details out off show, but for our listeners out there, you'll be able to find this on Twitch, and I believe the commentary will be pushed out wherever and however and to all platforms we could push it out, of course. But the most important thing is that you're still here. The world is a much better place with you in it.
Absolutely.
Smile more.